It is essentially a two-horse race for mayor in the city of Trees, current mayor Lauren McLean and retired Boise Police Chief Mike Masterson. 41 days out right now from decision day, and the race is turning a corner into the home stretch. So to maintain this equine metaphor, which candidate is going to the whip right now, who's taken to the rail, or who may be fading in the final furlough? Joe Paris is following all of this. So Joe, the question is, what's new?
Well, we saw our first political advertisement on television of the mayoral race, and that's not something we always see, TV advertisements, but we've seen at least one, and it was a spot that was put out by the Boise Fact Check Political Action Committee. So based on the name, you may wonder who this group is. Is this a third-party fact-checking political action committee? Well, if you watch their first ad, you'll get the answer pretty quickly. This is a group that supports the current mayor, Lauren McLean, and their press release went out about 2 weeks ago. They had the statement, Boise Fact Check will set the record straight on McLean's housing record. So McLean is not a part of the Fact Check PAC, to be very clear. It's an unaffiliated group that does support her. So what does the new ad say? Well, basically, a local businessman, he says that he supports McLean. No real fact checks here. There's no facts to check. This is his opinion, and I can't tell him if his opinion's wrong. And the ad claims that McLean is working across party lines to take on housing, a prominent topic in this race. So city politics are meant to be nonpartisan. So McLean and Masterson, for example, they're not running as Dems or Republicans, just a comment to make there. But we've seen some of your comments and questions about a story that we brought to you last week on polling in the Boise mayoral race. As we made clear that the Mike Masterson campaign, they paid to have that polling done, but we are circling back now to some of the questions that people were asked in the poll that led to the answers we shared with you. And we knew that the questions in the survey, at least a good chunk of them, they're likely framed to benefit Masterson, which only makes sense. They paid for the poll, and they likely want to test how their messaging is working. So I did get my hands on the actual questions. They've been sent to us from some viewers, and these are kind of the statements out there that were given to the people that really took the survey, the respondents. And these were presented as fact, but certainly not all of these are facts. Some of this is opinion injected into this. For one example, this statement says that McLean has made Boise less safe by mismanaging the police department, and that she installed a police chief who broke an employee's neck, and he only got fired because that incident was made public. And there's an implication here that officers are just quitting en masse. It also says that McLean accused the entire department there of racism in Boise. So it's a very complicated situation that was summarized in a few sentences. And first, it's not really the full narrative. For example, McLean never called the entire police department racist or accused them of that. She did speak about looking into what's going on in terms of racist behavior after a bombshell report here on KTVB about an officer giving racist speeches filled with white supremacist ideology. And so the community was asking her to look into it. She did have some concerns about the department. So anyways, it's fair to have an opinion on McLean and the police saga, but this little blurb that was given to voters is really not enough to educate someone before asking them, what they would like to vote for. So the McLean campaign shared a reaction with me to the questions and the messaging from the Masterson survey, and they said that the poll being touted by Mike Masterson's campaign is both cynical and misleading. The results, they say, are evidence of two key things. First, essentially, that she says that Boise voters don't think Masterson is the right choice, referring to the horse race part of the poll that had McLean leading 40% to 27%, with many undecided. And second, the McLean campaign says that there will likely be some dirty campaigning from Masterson supporters in the coming weeks. So I actually reached out to the Masterson campaign this morning and this afternoon to also see if they would send me their list of questions. Wasn't sure if the sample we got was all of them or just a collection we wanted to see. No response from the Masterson campaign at this point, but we'll let you know if we hear one. And leading survey respondents in a direction, it's not new. It just shows how powerful negative messaging can be compared to positive, and that's something we can circle back to. But something else that we learned researching this, survey respondents tell us they don't live in Boise. We got a viewer message telling us about this, and you see the viewer message here. Basically, they said, hey, we were given this survey, and other people I know in my neighborhood, well, they got it too. And not only don't we not live in Boise, we don't live anywhere near there. We can't vote in that election. So I asked the Masterson campaign if they had concerns about their survey in terms of the demographic, in terms of the respondents. I did not get an answer back yet at this point. Again, for those wondering, I saw this question a lot. The parameters on the poll for the the public policy polling, they surveyed 651 likely Boise voters. So when you say likely Boise voters, that could be part of the error there of some people getting it from outside the area. But September 15th and 16th of 2023, and I saw questions from you about the sample size. So 651, how big of a sample size is that of the voting population in Boise? Well, before the runoff in 2019, the first round of voting before they saw the final two, Boise saw 51,842 total votes. And if you want to draw from that, Brian, it's 1.3% of the pool. So 1.3%, you can do with that information with what you want. Also wanted to mention that we will be hosting a debate between the incumbent, Lauren McLean, and the challenger, former retired BPD chief, Mike Masterson, in a few weeks, Brian, here, October 24th, 6 p.m. on 7.
A lot of information there, Joe. A lot of good information. Thank you very much.